Come on, come on, come on. How you want it, cognac or Patron? Brunch with the boys, we gon' give you what you want. And what you don't know, we about to put you on. Come on, come on, come on. How you want it, cognac or Patron? Brunch with the boys, we gon' give you what you want. And what you don't know, we about to put you on. Yes, we are the trending topic. Good relationship profits. Brunch with the boys in the highs.
Gent out here. What's going on, y'all?
Stop pointing your finger at the camera and introduce our guest.
Oh, okay. I want to make sure that I'm being appropriate in my chivalry now. So I'd like to introduce her royally, of course, as Your Highness. Okay.
Wow. Red carpet rolled out. Y'all don't even see it.
That's her mom,
right.
man. I ain't make it up. I mean, I'm not just doing it based off of, she is a queen in this black world. You know what I'm saying? This is really what, this is her name. So I want to take a moment and just ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and the fact that you have a podcast and it's fire. It got me completely interested. So I want you to just give us a little bit of a rundown.
Thank you for that beautiful introduction. I'm your host, Your Highness, and I basically have a podcast where I talk about smoking some weed. I talk about the strains I smoke. It is Toronto-based. If you want to get specific, it's Scarborough-based in Toronto. And it's a message from my present self, from the experiences that I've gained from my past self, and it's carving, path for my future self. So it's the mistakes that I've learned from, it's the boundaries that I broke and rebuilt, and basically talking about some real shit with my girlfriends and my guy friends. And that's what it's about. It's Highness Tea. It's on YouTube. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Music. Catch me on all of that.
Y'all better check her out. Check her out.
Yeah, I definitely got to check her out. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Even
so we get into tonight.
I want to get into the signs someone is meant to be in your life. We're going to get a little deep tonight. You know what I mean? And, we normally don't that depends on who you ask as far as that goes, but we're going to get deep in it. So the first one is, to me, the most obvious. They bring you peace.
I got to ask a clarifying question. Are we talking generally, or are we talking like romantically?
We're talking directly relationships.
Okay, so romantically. Okay.
Yeah, romantically, because we can talk about friendships and touch on that a bit if you want, but friendships real fickle. If a nigga fucking up, you might, you know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna be good. It's more solid. You're good there. Whereas to me, when it comes to romantically, you're more likely to get rid of a bitch. So, I mean, I feel like
that's real talk, I guess.
I mean, some people may disagree with that, but I've said this before. Given the shortage of good men, I do feel we have the ability to let a lot of fish back into the sea, so to speak, and we probably gonna catch another big one real soon. So,
yeah.
Yeah. But let's get away from that. Someone bringing you peace in a relationship, isn't that everything? Isn't that all you want?
Why can't you find your own peace?
Hey,
great question.
I agree with her. Do you want to expound on that?
Yeah, because I find that when you're seeking for something externally, right? I actually reposted a quote today on my Instagram at Highness Tea, and it said, if you desire if you desire love, become love. That shit is so fucking real. And people don't realize that. People don't realize you can resonate that energy and you can truly be that thing. And that might be a little whoa.
No, I don't think it's whoa, but I'm going to keep it real gangster. Like, the reality is,
that should be interesting.
If you're in four walls in a relationship with somebody and they feel like warring, you can be a freaking Buddhist monk all day long. If they're fucking with that aura and that space and that energy and bringing some negativity within that space, there's only so long you're going to be trying to tap into your inner peace, because eventually you're going to run out of gas and then it's going to leave you stalled on the side of the road. I just don't see how, if someone is in your life and they're not bringing you peace, I think that's problematic in general. They say that that anything that costs you peace is far too expensive, right? And to be honest with you, there's only so much currency you have in a relationship, to Jeezy's point, where you just going to be like, all right, I'm opting out. I'm taking the next Greyhound bus out. Like, that's just reality. But I agree with you about the inner peace, and that's good and gravy. But if you living with someone, tell me they can't fuck up your peace.
So, look, go ahead, Giannis. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I 1,000% agree. I 1,000% agree on that point, where you can be meditating, you can be doing things, but there is an external environment that will fuck up your juice, right? But I feel like my point was, you shouldn't be going into a relationship seeking peace. You shouldn't be like, I'm so, my mind's wild, I'm like running through, I can't sleep, being with this person, I can finally, find that peace. Like, maybe you can, don't get me wrong, maybe you can find that person, but I think if you truly don't want to tap into yourself and find that peace yourself, looking for it within someone else is only going to be 2 times harder to get that for yourself, if that makes sense.
No, that makes complete sense.
I got a question. So I agree with what you first said. So I'll be honest with you. In any type of relationship, I don't expect anybody to bring me peace. Like, that's not a requirement I have. Like, I don't go out here being like, man, this bitch kind of peaceful. She can get to business, right? Like, I don't approach a situation like that. Now, I guess the question is, and I'm going to say something that I'm not sure if it's synonymous with your point about having your own peace. I do look for people who do not do things to disturb my peace. So if that is the same thing, I think it's slightly different. But if it's the same thing, then I'm there with you. But if not, I would kind of go with that. I think it's the same road,
because at this point you are so self-aware, you know what disturbs your peace. You are able to understand yourself, and to that level. So I think it's the same road. I think it's the same road as what I was kind of saying. Definitely.
Yeah. So from that standpoint, I agree. Do we agree that peace is subjective? And what disturbs peace and what brings peace to in Gent's case, what brings it or what disturbs it is different.
But definitely, but
okay,
you know what your peace is.
Correct.
Lamar once said it best: "Bitch, don't kill my vibe." And I think he resonated it best to me, because, like you said, don't ruin your vibe, don't ruin your peace. And one thing any man knows is a bitch can ruin your peace. You know what I mean? She can ruin your vibe. She can ruin, you know what I mean? And to Dez's point and yours, Highness, you can rectify that. And, we are who we are, D, so you already know. In 5-10 minutes, we straight. But for 5 minutes, I'm agitated. And if you agitate 5 minutes of my peace, you could possibly be gone. Like, it doesn't take much these days. So my point of the matter is, I think it's more as far as what makes me say, hey, and that's what we're looking at. Man, you're the one for me. Is not because my peace comes from her, but it's almost that she doesn't disturb my peace and that she fits seamlessly into my peace. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
So
I like that.
I got a question.
Different phrasing, I think, than what you first said.
Yeah, it's all how you wrap it, baby. It's all how you wrap it.
Yeah. Is it always? I have a question though. Is there so when you're looking for that thing, right, that type of vibe that I think we're all referring to, there's I think a baseline, in those relationships, and I guess the topic of our podcast, right, whether or not someone's meant to be in your life, I think that's a baseline expectation, right, that you don't fuck up my peace, right? But that's the goddamn entry price. Those are table stakes, right? The desires for someone who contributes to the vibe, right? Not just doesn't disturb it, right, but contributes to the vibe. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely agree. And they often say man's, and I don't agree with this entirely, but I see where they're coming from, but they say a man's happiness is tied to his woman's happiness, in the sense that if your two are to coexist, there has to be a connection. So she can't be there on one shit, you there on another. That shit might not really come together right. So I think your vibes do have to mesh. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be with a chick who snorts cocaine because I'm not doing lines, ho. So you get what I'm saying? But a chick who plays ball, hey, that's a good vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go watch a game.
And burn
You know,
streets.
so,
Right.
exactly. You know what I mean? So I feel you on that. That's how I see it.
That's what it is. I like that.
So
I like that. What else?
the next one, you can be yourself 100% around this person. And doesn't that say it all as far as who you want in your life, who you keep in your life, romantically and otherwise for that matter? If you can be yourself around them, that's what it is.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we have to define what that means sometimes, and I think it's like it's a space where you don't feel like you have to hide your flaws, right? Like you could be at your worst, and it's no judgment. It's a no flex zone. You know what I'm saying? It's a no flex zone on that one. And I think straight up, it's like psychology 101. You got that front stage, you got that backstage, right? If I got to live on front stage with you the whole time, you finna burn me the fuck out, right? And it's gonna lead to anger. I might shake a bitch. I'm not quite sure.
Stop for a second.
Okay.
So I want to say this. No. You don't talk anymore because you've already messed up. We do not condone any violence, hitting, and or shaking of women or anyone else. That the views expressed by Gent are his entirely and solely, and do not represent the entirety of the bunch of
I don't
boys.
even
talking about shaking.
shake a
He was
woman's
joking.
hand.
He was joking.
I was talking about shaking her hand. I was talking about shaking her hand.
I know we discussing with you.
No, but
Would
I
you
know,
agree?
no, I was just finishing up. Like, but going back to that, it's just kind of like if I got to live there, because people don't get their energy by living in front stage. You get your energy by being yourself and living backstage, right? And you will burn out in that capacity, and that relationship's not even going to go far. And you're probably not going to enjoy it. It's no different than when we got to go to work, Des and Jezzy, and you know, same with you, Your Highness. Like we go to work, and you know we got to put on something. We got to put on a little bit of a different show than what we typically are on any given Sunday, right? I mean, some of us are really good allowing it to resonate somewhere close to who we really are, but we never bring our whole person to work, right? And so you do that, and you're at a company event. You can handle that company event for just so long before you just like, I got to get out of this bit. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I see relationships, or how I see about being 100% yourself.
I got a question for you, though, Jen. And I want to focus on this because I know it's not the focus of the podcast. But when you say, and I get your point, but I'm playing devil's advocate, which I tend to do, right? I get your point entirely. But wouldn't you say that everyone, or at least the vast majority of people, aren't who they are at work during the week, the same person they are on a Friday or Saturday night with their friends, or during the weekend when they're not at work? Because there's a certain level of professionalism that you have to bring to work that is different than you have to explain or display in your personal life.
That's what I think why it makes it even more important to be able to be yourself. You know what I mean? When you're with this person and when you're with your friends, because you know what I'm saying? That's what you need. I kind of find it funny though, because when you're young, especially for a man and for women for that matter, I'm willing to bet you're okay with putting up fronts when it benefits you sexually or financially or both. You know,
or anyway, if it benefits you regardless.
If it benefits you in any way, a little attention. So it's kind of funny we say be ourselves, and so many people don't know who someone really is because you're only showing this person 60%, the other person 20%, this person 5%. And it's just a rarity to be able to show someone all of you and be your true self, you know?
And for me, if I can touch on that, I feel like growing up, I used to be a crowd pleaser. You know, that little girl that was a middle child that would, you know, do backflips to get like mommy to clap. You know what I mean? Play like soccer, do karate to make my dad proud. Like, you know what I mean? I always, regardless, brought home these grades just because it made everybody proud. X, Y, Z. I just consistently found myself crowd pleasing until I got into university. Like, you know, that first year, it was like mind boggling. I was like, decisions have to be made. Taxes are in my life. I was like, what the fuck?
Right.
Like, they didn't teach me any of this in calculus and fucking all these courses I've learned. Like, what is this? And life hit me hard, where I was living by myself when I was going to university. I had to figure out, paying bills, literally figuring out, how to budget, figuring out these life tasks. And when you have to live and figure those out, you can't put up a front. You're just like, go, 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 go. And I feel like that's what happened to me, my personal experience with that. You try to put a front, you try to put a face, you try to please everybody. At one point, it wears down so much that you're kind of like, this is me. This is what's shining through. This is me. You're right. Professionally, like, I'm not going to swear because I can't do that at work, and I can't talk about certain topics that I would normally talk about. I completely omit those things, and I do agree. But I feel like we all can slowly shed certain layers as we open up, grow, become wiser, whatever path journey it is. I think that's important.
That's a great point. And let me ask the group this. And I don't know, I was going to turf it towards Your Highness from a woman's perspective, and maybe we do that initially. Do you feel as though whatever, I don't know if you're heterosexual or homosexual, but whoever your mate is, do you feel like your relationship with your mate, that do you have to be your complete self, or do you leave a sliver for like your best friend, or should that person in your life be all encompassing and even trump any kind of best friend relationships you have?
I'm bisexual.
There you go.
God
Always
bless
preface my
you, my
shit.
child. God bless you, my
Yeah.
child.
So
You say God bless you, my child.
God bless
I
you.
love women. I love men. Mwah.
Love to be back.
Love the world. Anyways, love the human species. And yeah, that's where I come from. I feel like, if I'm being honest with you, yes, in my relationships, I was really immature. I'm going to disclose my age as well. I'm 26 years old. So, I was 18, 19, and then maybe like 24, 25. And then even before that, maybe like 14, 15. So I want to say I was really young, really naive, and like that foot out the door, that toe out the door. You know what I mean? That little sliver. I do feel like I did that as a protective mechanism and things like that when I was younger. Now, as I'm older and I'm venturing into a more confident, just me being myself, I have this idea of being comfortable being in an open relationship. And so in that, the I guess the criteria kind of shifts with your question, right? Where I feel like, yeah, of course, there's going to be things this person does not know.
I think
and I don't want to know either. And it's
Right.
fine. Maybe it's the other way around, where he knows everything or she knows everything and I know everything about him or her, right?
I
Right.
think most women want to know everything about their man. I think most women
Oh my fuck.
feel most
Women,
secure.
take it from me. I know I'm young, but leave those fucking canned worms. The past isn't the mother past. He's living now with you, girlfriend, honey, wife. Like, be present. If he's looking good in that moment, tell your baby, tell daddy, be like, honey, you're looking fine. Go kiss him. Live for now. Don't think about that thing he did last week, or that bitch he did whatever X, Y years ago. Fuck that shit. He's with you right now, and that's what matters.
Say it, boo boo. Say it, boo boo.
Be present.
It doesn't matter if a million women say the same thing. You don't hear that shit. God damn it. You don't you never realize what you have until that shit is gone. And it's sad. And that's not the case for men. And they always say that shit about men. We know that shit ain't fucking true. We know this shit was good. We just let that shit go because we didn't give a fuck at the moment. Like, no, they say you never know a good thing till it's gone. No, we knew that shit was great. We just fucked up and we had other options and we wanted to see if we could get back to it. Like, no, I really want us to clear that up. You know what I'm saying? Because I think
everybody feels that way though. I don't think it's a man thing. I think women know when they got something good too.
Yeah.
I
think they do too. Yeah, I'm a little bit biased when it comes to those situations.
Yeah,
but,
clearly.
Yeah. But I think what it comes down to is, do you want to change that person? Does that person want to change you? And I think a lot of times.
Is that the next tip?
Yeah, I think a lot of times we're around people and we like this and we like that, but then we don't fuck with that. And what weeds you out, what gives you longevity, is if the shit we don't like ain't really that bad. Maybe that's how I feel. You know what I mean? Because there's gonna be shit you don't like.
Yeah, yeah. I think a couple things. I think we generalize, right? You say you don't want anybody to change you, or things like that. I think let's compartmentalize that, right? You want somebody who is going to be able to help you grow, and by virtue of that, change in the areas of improvement that you have in your life, right? So if you're not a good communicator and you have somebody who wants to help you become a good communicator, if you're very, very smart or hardworking, but you're not particularly motivated, sometimes, let me tell you something. There's plenty of dudes out here that are successful, not because a woman did the job for them, because a woman said, I believe in your big-headed ass, but you being lazy and you need to put the work in to get to your dreams. And it's a lot of motherfucking successful people out there. So I think change is good if it's the right kind of change. I think a carte blanche statement about, not changing someone is bullshit, right? Because if I get with you and you got some shit that needs improvement and I'm not going to be able to change you, then we don't need to get this popping, right? If you're unwilling and unable or incapable of change, you know what I mean?
So are you saying then that you can not like something about someone and be in a relationship with them if they are willing to change it, but they have to acknowledge that?
Can I interject?
You sure can.
Correct me if I'm wrong, okay, King? Okay, so I think he's saying that we as human beings, Darwin said it, evolution, okay, let me bring some science up in this shit. We evolved, right? So if you're not evolving, you're dying. So that's what I think change, right? So say a situation happens, you got fired. What are you gonna do? Sit there and mope and mope and mope? Maybe for a week you can, maybe for 2 weeks, whatever. But for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, that's what I think. That's what I think he means change. Like the willingness when life hits you and shit happens, your adaptability needs to be on point, your resilience, your ability to be like, okay, change. So I think when he said let's compartmentalize it, like, yeah, there's like change, growth, good positivity, and then like they chew with their mouth open. You want to change that type of thing, you know?
If we're talking about stuff like that, then I completely agree with you. But if we're talking about someone is trying to fundamentally change who I am as a person, what made me, Gent, like I'm not about that life, right? And if I get it out of the way, naturally, people, when it comes to the fundamental essence of themselves, they have no fucking desire to want to change. And neither should they have to when it comes to their fundamental who they are. Now, like when it comes to all the other things, like, oh, this is some place that you can improve. There's going to be a zillion one of those, and there's going to be character flaws that your significant other, partner, girlfriend, in long-term relationship is going to want to do. But there's a point where you have to sit here and say, can I accept this person for who they are? Because if you can't accept me for generally who the hell I am, then I can't be myself around you, first and foremost, going back to the last tip. So that's the way I feel. If I feel like I have to conform or suppress to make someone else feel happy, you might give us free. I mean,
no. I agree, because at the end of the day,
hey, but Jezzy, let me go ahead, Jezzy. I want to say a point. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just saying you are who you are. I agree with it.
I think so. I have a slight disagreement with what Gent said, and I think it has an impact. So you said that. Let me get these markers down. Hold up.
I want to know why you got them all together and you turned them into a stick.
Because I'm childish, and that's what I do with markers. Okay. So I think you said something that when it comes to the fundamental characteristics, I think this plays into Jeezy's question. But when it comes to the fundamental characteristics of a person that most people aren't willing to change, and I disagree with that. I'm not saying that they do, right? So I think your overall point may be, do they really change that much fundamentally from the core of who they are? No, but I also think there's a difference between getting into a relationship with someone who has some fundamental character flaws, who is unwilling to change, and then getting into a relationship with somebody who has some fundamental character flaws, but they're open to trying to change. Their success is a whole nother story, right? And being able to do that. But I think from a relationship standpoint, someone who is willing to take the steps and the actions to change, even though ultimately they may be unsuccessful, is different than somebody who is so stubborn they aren't even willing to have that conversation.
Interesting.
Good point.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to just interject this. I know it's so taboo, but I think the power of therapy, I actually did an episode on that on Your Highness T. Go check it out. I really think it's important. A lot of people think that, oh, therapy is for people that are, chronically ill, X, Y, Z. But therapy actually brings you different perspective. I, see my therapist every 4 to 6 weeks. And it's just different lenses that you can go and see your past, whether it's your past and you're getting depressed by it, whether it's your future and you're getting anxious by it, right? It's different lenses, different, scenarios, different perspectives to be like, hey, this problem is maybe not what you think it is, because this person that is sitting you down is professionally able to talk you through it, is giving you a different perspective, and you may shift from these things. So yeah, I think therapy.
Yeah, definitely take mental health seriously. That's a big movement right now. Something that especially Black people, we have always laughed and joked off. So, that shit is no joke. So definitely take that serious. But to touch on something that you all said, or to me kind of implied, was that this person, in reference to change, they kind of inspire you to be better. You know what I mean? Or want to be better. And I think that's big. So if someone's meant to be in your life and someone you want in your life, they inspire you to want to be a better communicator. They inspire you to want to lose that weight, to go apply for that job you've always wanted, whatever it may be. They're going to motivate you to be a better version of yourself.
Hopefully.
You have to be willing.
Yeah. And they have to be a good person too. Like if they're not, you know what I mean, you'll know. So two lazy ass motherfuckers ain't really gonna go anywhere. So they might gotta push the curve. But so you ever been with a chick, Des, and you went out on a date?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, you finished the question.
How many, right? I should say how many.
No, not a lot.
It doesn't matter. That shit taboo. Taboo.
You know what I mean? But you just left her feeling energized, feeling like, damn, she just woke you up and shit. You've been drinking, catching a vibe, but yet somehow she has you high as hell just on her vibe and energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I've had that. I've had that on a couple of occasions, probably more than a couple, at least a few occasions. It's they become addicting, right? Because it's exactly to the point that you're talking about. It isn't necessarily, and this is what I think the difference is between somebody who you like, I could really fuck with this person, have him in my life, and somebody who you just think is hot or cute, right? Because that feeling, that energy, that high you get, it's not about how pretty her face is or how big her boobs are, her butt or thighs, or anything like that. It is how she makes you feel.
Yeah.
And when you get that feeling, when you get that rush, it's addicting, right? It's euphoric, and you want to do everything you can to get that often, which means you want to be around her more. You want to do things that make her want to have you around more, right? So I've definitely been there, for sure. How about you?
Yeah, beautifully.
You muted yourself.
You been there before? You ever had that feeling?
That's because you didn't have shit to say.
Mr. Gent, you muted yourself.
And then he laughed at his own joke, Des.
No, what I was saying was, man, that thing was so on point, man, so poetic, man. I felt it like my heart flutter, and you weren't talking about me. But what I was saying, what I would love to add on top of that is that, like, there's a scientific reason and rationale why we want that. Like, we know that positive, like, social interaction leads to just healthier and strengthening of your cardiovascular system, your immune system, your general mental well-being. It literally has a physical impact. It's no different than, they say that people who go into an illness with positivity have a better outcome than someone who goes in with a pessimistic outlook. I will tell you that there is, to Des' point, there's nothing better being around someone where, like, you almost are soaking up their positive sun rays, and you want to keep going back until you get sunburned. You know what I'm saying? That field is like, you know what I'm saying?
That shit can get so toxic though if they themselves are not willing to produce their own sun rays.
Facts.
That's true.
Facts. I like that. That's a gem.
They don't know about you yet. Your honey. Don't know about it.
Oh, stop it.
Have you ever found yourself, Highness, in a situation where you you were competing, or you felt like you were competing in your mate? I know you say you believe in open relationships. I'd imagine there's some competition for who gets the pussy next. I want it on Tuesdays and Thursdays, preferably.
To be honest, it's not first come first serve, right? Like, I'm your highness, I'm the queen, I run the shit, I run the show.
Man, yes, man, yes.
I like that. I like that.
You
No
know,
comment. I like
I
all
get
that.
it when I want it.
Man,
Woo!
it's hard to argue that you're winning over there when you have access to both at your beck and call. It's a beautiful thing.
It is. Live your best life. Don't fucking care. Who cares? Don't judge. Relationships, marriages, they're beautiful, amazing, a totally different category and a wonderful thing. And so is the other spectrum. So let's all respect what people want to do with their lives and love all people.
All right.
And I
That's
think
what it is.
that competition standpoint too, I think you'll find you need that your mate encourages you, and
Right.
wants to see you win, and even though they lose, even if they do lose, you know what I mean? And I don't know why you laughed then. I ain't shit, so I laughed too. But it's sometimes shit is not gonna go your way, and if good news comes your mate's way, you can't be on some old man shit. That should have been me. That'd be fucked up.
If it's real, when you win, they win, and vice versa. If it's real, if it's not, then you get that bullshit you're talking about.
Exactly. And I also think that, like, in open relationships, like, what people are not understanding is that, like, there's no ownership. It's not like I own you, you own me. It's more of a partnership, right? And I think that's pardon?
Yeah.
No, I said I asked Gent if he heard what you just said.
I heard
that
what
way,
you said.
maybe it will sink in. So
I got
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I got it.
So it's a partnership, right? And there is that give and take, right? Don't get me wrong. You can't, like, to me, I don't really see them as like wins and losses, or like, this day and that day. It's just kind of like, okay, it didn't happen then when I expected it. It's fine. When, we talk next, we'll figure it out and we go from there. And that is really wise. That is really mature. That is really adult. That does take a long time to build. That takes, this idea of being real. That's all it is being real. If it was like, yo, when you did that, it was kind of like this. And I was like, I would be like, oh, okay, I recognize this. So how can we work those things out, right? It's just like a normal relationship in that sense. But it's just that real, honest, being authentic with that person.
See,
regardless.
The way I'm kind of looking at, you're not trying to compete with your significant other or whoever you're in a relationship with. I mean, I'm sure alpha males have difficulty with this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just thinking this in my head. I'm like, man, sometimes fighting is a sport to me.
Monopoly,
you know what I'm saying?
House getting violent and shit.
I'm just saying, I'm wondering if fighting is a sport sometimes. And Des, I'm sure sometimes I get this from your personality. You want to win. You will debate somebody into molecules, and they might not, and then you have to rebuild them back. Like, so for me, you don't want to, if you're in a healthy relationship and this person is supposed to be in your life, you probably won't have that desire to feel like you got to win every time, right? But in the same breath, when you also can't be honest and you can't compromise, you competing. That's the only reason you're not doing any of those things, is because you want to win. It's about the win. And so I know that I've been guilty of it, and I realize that the person that is supposed to be in my life is going to disarm me from wanting to feel that desire to do that.
I love that you said it's about honesty and compromise. I think that's really deep, because I think that's important regardless of what kind of relationship it is, right? And that's why things work out in a sense in an open relationship, because like I said, that ownership aspect isn't really there. So if we can even mold that into regular relationships where, it's a partnership, it's that give and take, that love is still there. You are one with each other, of course, but it's a partnership. I don't know how it would work.
I feel you. I want to comment on what you said, Jen. So 2 things. And I want to, we have a tendency to go off on these side roads. So keep me honest, but I do want to respond. First thing, interestingly enough, I prefer, even though I have a strong personality and I would say I have an alpha male type personality, I like outspoken females. Like, I don't want anybody I can walk over. I'm like, hey, we finna do this today, da 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 da. She's like, okay. And we're gonna go here and you're gonna do this. Okay, I don't like that.
I don't like that shit.
I like relationships with people who like, even if I wasn't around, they were going to take care of themselves. They were going to be successful. They were going to be on the grind because they don't need me to be successful, right? We get together and we're greater because of it. But I don't want to be the source or the cause. The second thing is, with regards to debating, you know, it's funny. I debate because I literally enjoy this. It's not, I enjoy hearing other people's opinions and understanding their logic. It's just that I think I'm more logical than most people, right? A lot of people, no, seriously. I think it's human nature. I think a lot of people argue and make points off of emotion, which is cool, right? But emotion isn't objective, right? So then that's only your truth. When you argue off of facts, then it's not about some subjective truth, it's an objective truth. So I just wanted to respond to your ass. That's it.
Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah, I'll bring it back. When you can be with someone through the ups and downs, that person could be the one for you. Ups and downs are a funny thing, you know, because the reality is that some of those downs can be self-inflicted. You know what I mean? And when they're self-inflicted, it makes it hard for the person to say, man, I'm going to ride with you on the ups and on the down. Like if you cheat on your lady and now the relationship is in the down, it's hard for her to say, hey, it's hard for you to look at him and be like, man, you got to ride with me through the ups and the downs, baby, the good and the bad. Well, nigga, you caused the bad, nigga. So you got to keep things in perspective, fellas, when you say ups and downs. Like you losing your job, you know, a death in the family, you know what I'm saying? Something like that. It's different as far as ups and downs, and those are the people you want around you that can help you through those tough times and make things feel easy. But you also got to pay attention to what the downs are. You know?
And it's not like I don't disagree with you, but I mean, I need a bitch that I can thank her for not letting me go, even when I said leave me alone and let me go, and I tried to push her away for whatever reasons that I did, and she refuses to go, right? Because she's and I know it sounds unreasonable. It literally sounds unreasonable, but that's kind of what I want, because to me that sounds like someone who does not want to go anywhere, regardless of whether it's a positive moment or a negative moment. Because to your point, we do self-inflict, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean that self-infliction always is, for in the example you chose, cheating. You may be going through a depression, or whatever the case may be, and I've been through that, and you unintentionally push people away in that moment. I don't need someone to be like, this motherfucker tripping right here, man. I'm about to hit it to the motherfucking crib. I want someone to be able to say, shit, even though I'm trying to push you away in that situation, ride with me.
And that's the right person, they will, you know, and you almost can't blame people that don't, in my opinion, because sometimes I believe in listening in what someone says they want, and I'm a pretty persistent man. It's gotten me a lot in my life, particularly pussy. And I know that I can push forward what I want. You know what I'm saying? Persistence. It'll get
Your Highness.
every time. But what I also know that you have to be a good friend, and sometimes that's listening to what you want. And if that means backing off and you say, hey, I need some time, nigga, I'm gonna give you that time. And you won't see me begging you to talk, because I'm gonna ask you right then and there. And I think we gotta be real. You see, that to me, that's not a real person. And that's an issue they have, and they have to deal with it on their own. But you gotta be real with yourself. And when you're real with yourself, then you can even receive help. And then guess what, nigga, you're gonna get it. Because you're going to ask for it. You know what I mean? So I never had an issue with people who want therapy or who seek therapy. It's a good thing, because you know you need the help. You know you need that outlet. If you need a friend to be that outlet, say it. Don't push them away. So I see things differently from that perspective, Gent.
I agree. It's all I'm saying is there's things that we all do that we don't mean to fucking do. You know what I'm saying? And if we're going to sit here and, of course, take this, you know, step back, calculated approach of how we should approach it in our life. Yeah, fuck yeah, you're right. But that's not how life is. And we are emotional creatures. We're not binary and not our whole makeup is ones and zeros and shit. Like there's a human aspect of it. And if a bitch is feeling that way and you want someone who's just not going to give up on you because you're in that space.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's someone who's riding for me.
Yeah.
But I get your point, and because I really believe in the whole, hey, say what say what you mean, right?
Yeah.
But I tell you from personal experience that's not always true.
So I don't think so. I agree with Jezzy on that too, and I get what you're saying, Gent. But two things I would say, like, I think there could be a debate on who's at more fault in that relationship if things aren't going well, right? The person who doesn't say what they mean, or the person that doesn't push through, right? Because if I'm on the other side of that and you don't tell me what you mean, then I get really. Then I'm gonna tell you something. We're gonna have a problem, because if you come with me like you didn't fight for me, you didn't push through, what? I asked your ass how the fuck you felt, and you told me you good. Don't worry about it.
You didn't want nothing
I'm not
to
gonna
eat.
fucking mind read it, right?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. I'm honest, and I don't want to make it an honesty thing, right? I'm direct and I'm blunt, right? Because I think people waste a lot of time playing games, and I'm not saying playing games, but not saying what they want. So yeah, if I got a problem with you, I'm gonna tell you what the problem is. If you give a fuck enough about me, you're going to adjust, and if you don't, I'm gonna fucking adjust.
All right, Your Highness.
You know what I mean? So
please take over, Your Highness, because it feels like you're about to tag in. You know what I'm saying? So tag in.
Let me listen. I feel like I absolutely agree. If you are somebody who is living 100% moment to moment, and you're so real, and this person that you're with knows that and understands that and sees that and is trying to be with you and is trying to develop, but then they're the ones that then turn around and say, I can't do this anymore, like, and they walk away because they're depressed, like you said. Sorry, I did air quotes. They're depressed, period. As somebody who has gone through that experience as well, and like I said, I told you guys openly, I see a therapist and stuff like that. Like, I have empathy, definitely do, but I'm also that person where it's just like, here are some tools, like, let's figure this out. Right? And how long do we do this? We do this for, a span of time, and then boom, you break up with me. You don't even use the resources and tools, and then you expect me to now be like, hey babe, like, I did call 5 times that night or whatever that night, and nothing. And then it goes quiet, and a day passes by, and that stuff is chapter closed.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it didn't matter if he fell on my feet or like calls me every night or says that he misses me or loves me. You know what I mean? Straight the fuck up. I'm exposed mans right now. I have a married ex that still calls me on a block number. Okay. So I'm just like, no, goodbye. Like, the past is the past. Leave me the fuck alone. You're blocked for a reason. Like, I never want you. And it's been like 6 or something years.
Wow.
Oh, you got that good.
You must be special. Okay. You special. So
I think it was just the attachment, whatever. I don't know. Anyway.
And you get from that euphoric feeling that he's searching for.
And the pussy.
He's still looking for that first hit. He ain't gonna find it.
But it's kind of funny that we're saying this, because we call men do crazy for this type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Damn, bitch, just say what you mean. You know what I mean? And why do I have to read your mind? And Jen, you and I've had this discussion before, where a woman would damn near expect that on a regular basis. Like,
but that's the point. That's the point. We're talking about regular basis, frequency of moments, right? A man is not going to give it to you at nowhere close to that level of frequency, right?
Which makes it harder to work around. How can you circumvent that when you're not used to seeing it? So how will I know in that moment is the time to push forward when any other time you've been direct?
So you're telling me your kid gets straight A's for years and they get a D all of a sudden? Like, you never experienced, but you gonna beat the shit out that nigga, right? Like, it's that time. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to do.
I don't think because
I've never experienced it before. How about they've given you straight A's this whole time? So how about you figure out what's going on, help them get up, encourage them, all the shit that you're supposed to do, rather than sitting here.
It's not a good analogy, because
of course that's a good analogy.
Because the report card was a result of them needing help. That was a factor. That was them speaking out, whether it was after the fact or not. Now I know they need help. what you're saying is I can't help it, because if you don't say it, I can't know that at this moment you want me to push through it emotionally when all I think is what you're saying, which is leave me alone. You know what I'm saying?
I disagree, but we can move on, because I'm gonna disagree on this shit 100%. Like,
I'm like Des in that way too. We can go all night long.
Y'all can go all the way, but I don't agree with that. And let me tell you, when you're in that situation, Jeezy, because you're a more emotional person, I think you're bullshitting. But I hear
Then who
though? And I'm not saying I'm not an
emotional person. Then a lot of men don't sit here and act. Don't sit here and act tough.
I'm not an emotional person,
no,
but where I'm different is that I would explode with passion and emotion, stating what I want, clearly stating what I expect, so there won't be any doubt there. So
it's all right. I know the truth. It's all right. We can move on.
You know what I'm saying? We'll hug it out later, big bro. We'll hug it out later. But
what up?
Last but not least, trust. You know, I saved this for last because I think that's obviously most important. Trust has ruined more relationships than cheating, and you know, and I guess you can kind of bring those both together and say they go hand in hand. But trust in any way, losing trust in several ways is possible. So it's not just infidelity, but being able to trust someone or feeling that you can, without a shadow of doubt, is why I would keep anyone around. You know.
Yeah,
that comes from being honest with yourself and your partner being honest with themselves, and when you guys are together, being honest when you're with each other.
Sounds easy, right?
It does sound easy.
Do you think that there's anyone really telling their partners the entire truth and nothing but the truth? So
yeah, I do.
And sometimes it's a little bit too much, right? But I think
that would be good for the relationship. But
listen, I feel like truth, it's a really weird word, but I think what your past was, like I said, doesn't matter. Canned worms or canned fucking worms, let them be, right? Now you're with this person, now you have to be honest with this person, now you guys move on honestly. Like, say there's a guy that asked for my number at Costco. Oh my God, the next time we go, I ignored him, whatever, and he again asked for my number at Costco. Say my man trips out, being like, why the fuck did you tell me he asked you last time? Do you know what I mean? There's like that in that scenario, to me, if he reacted like that, that's an insecurity. He was insecure and he flipped out on me for not telling him, because I personally thought it was no big deal because I addressed it. I was like, hey, I have a man. No, thank you.
You can't do that to a woman, though. You know what I mean? A situation where
that's fortunate, and that's unfortunate. And ladies, saddle the fuck up. Grow a fucking pair, you know, like stick your titties out, nipples out, you know, go out there.
Nipples out, clap it up, nipples out. But Des, quick question: if you see your girl or your wife, whatever, sitting down at a kids event, and another man who's sitting in close proximity begins having a conversation with her, you see them exchange conversation from afar. Maybe you're with one of your kids, and you see her giggling and laughing and shit like that. When you speak with her, do you address her and ask her what's going on?
I would say.
Hold on. I want to get Des first, Highness, please.
I would probably say, what was that about? I don't know that I would break the conversation, because here's the thing, and I'm probably.
Or would you?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I definitely wouldn't. And I'm not trying to do this for the podcast, because y'all know me. I'm not like a jealous person, right? For a couple reasons. First of all, I feel like I got options if anybody mess up what they got with me. That's the first thing. The second, that's just real.
Well, options the second test, ladies. Is what
there you go. A, B, C, D, B. But the second thing is if you gotta constantly worry about your woman or your man, you gotta constantly ask them questions. You gotta run these informal fucking investigations. Fucking leave. They are not the person for you. Doesn't mean they're bad people. Doesn't mean that you gave up on a relationship. But if they are regularly engaged in some shit that just causes you stress, tell them about it. See if they adjust. If they don't, get the fuck out. But it's not work. I'm going to be with you in a relationship for 30, 40 years, and I got to constantly feel like every time you out of my sight, I got to check up on your ass.
It's not even out of sight. You know, just to keep it in perspective, she's right there in front of you. You know what I mean?
It doesn't matter.
Let me check in. Let me tag in.
I'm even less worried.
Tag him in.
I know my bitch bad. I know she's fucking fine. Motherfuckers break necks when she walks by, you know. People literally put the music up as they drive by when she's walking because her ass goes badonka donka. That's my girl. Hell yeah, people are gonna stop and talk to her. Fuck yeah. But guess what? I'm fucking her tonight. So haha, bitch. That's my energy.
And
Girl,
that's
that shit.
how long have I said that shit, Des? I've been saying that shit. Focus on what you have, ladies. And if you see that shit, I always wonder why ladies see that and get jealous instead of looking at it and saying, damn, my nigga looks so good. Other bitches want to fuck him. And I'm gonna fuck the shit out of him tonight because that's fine. You know, and to me, where it comes down to is insecurities. Unfortunately, because the reason, Des, and this is what I was trying to get out of you, and I want you to answer too, Gent, is because when you're secure and you got your shit together, you're good looking, you know what you provide. I wish a bitch would find a nigga better than this. And I'm not saying there aren't good men out there, and a lot of us, but I'm saying to pretend you're not one of the good ones and think a bitch you're gonna be also hurt and bad off if she leave. No, if a hoe wanna cheat in front of my face, whatever, go. Niggas gonna be all right, like you said.
Correct.
So I actually like when I see my woman being talked to by another nigga, and I see, you know what I'm saying? And I've been in situations where my girl has been 5 to 6 steps ahead of me, and a nigga slid on her right in front of me. And I watched, didn't say nothing, laid back as she told him no, came to me, held my hand, and kissed me. Like, nigga, I already know. Nigga, that's the shit that you know you got.
You had it in pocket.
Come on,
she was in pocket.
You had your whole in pocket. So when you know your shit together, man, you could talk to another nigga. And Jen, you tell me how you feel about that.
Well, of course, you know, I feel the exact same.
Because we got an example though. You remember that example when we was downtown Orlando?
Oh yeah. It's been situations where you'll walk and other men are just checking them out, and you just feeling you're feeling energized. You're feeling proud. The way Your Highness explained it, like that's how men feel when they see their women being slid on. It's unless you're insecure, we have no feelings on that, right? And so
a lot of insecure niggas out there.
That's
a
lot of insecure men. And I think when we're talking about trust, I think it doesn't always have to be like someone cheated or something. Sometimes people lose trust when people are inconsistent. You say you're gonna do something every time you say you're gonna do it. Yeah. I came to you. I said I wanted head, right? You told me you was going to take care of me on Tuesday.
Great analogy, Gent.
You said you was going to take care of me on Tuesday. Tuesday come, I ain't say nothing to you. Then after that, you realized on Wednesday that you didn't do it. And I said, dang, you know, I ain't want to say nothing, but this is what you promised. Now, come on now, don't act like that. Oh, I got you tonight.
Ladies, try your
I got you tonight.
Situation.
You know, I've been here. And then the next time you don't get that inconsistency fucks up. I don't trust you to do what you say you're gonna do.
What you say, Your Highness?
I was trying to say, ladies, try not to schedule it. You know, be so in it, be so with your man that he doesn't need to schedule it. Ladies, try. Put that 10%. Trust me, sex is amazing. It releases oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin, all really positive neurotransmitters that make your brain and whole body feel good. Baby
Listen,
girl.
I hate when a hoe ain't sucked you off. Your lady ain't sucked you off right in a week or so, and she sucked you off. And she said, "Oh, I miss sucking this dick." Then, bitch, why you don't suck it more? The whole session go left, nigga. Because I'm like, nigga, I've been here every day this week. Like, what's up with this shit?
Just appreciate when she said it, and then, yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
I gotta say this real quick because we always get to this. I just want to say it. Sometimes a well-timed hand job, ladies, will go a long way. If your jaw tired, you don't feel like opening. I get you some nice doing a hand job. Say something. When he busts that nut in 5 or 6 minutes, he's gonna be just as happy. Just do it, ladies.
But ladies, why that when you both can just enjoy some slithering wetness?
I think you're living in a different false reality. I hope you never see the other side of this. But
it's not a false reality. It's my reality, hun.
I agree. It's your reality. So you better keep making sure you work hard to keep your reality what it is. That shit can change and you ain't even know it. You know what I'm saying? That shit can change and slip up under you.
You know what? You know what, Joe Jezzy? I think you know what I would say is I think everybody has absolute. Now, I don't want to get into the whole God has control. Listen, baseline stuff, right? But I think when it comes to decisions, I think people make decisions and they have the ability to make decisions. And if we're going to be honest without getting into details, for instance, if you ever find yourself or Gent or Your Highness or myself find ourselves in situations that we stay in that we don't want to be in, it's because we're making a conscious effort to stay in those relationships because of other factors. It's not that we can't leave that situation. It's that we're choosing not to leave for things that we deem more important than leaving the relationship.
Real
But
shit.
it's not an inability to correct that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Nigga, do I agree?
Can we talk about the last point?
What's that?
The X factor. The
What?
sex factor. I feel like if you,
You don't
if that
even
ain't
like
fine-
sex, do you, Jim?
I'm just saying,
You
if
like the
that's
whole
not a
hands
sign
and
that
make
you should
ribs.
be together, they ain't none is. Like, to be honest with you, hey, listen, a chick can have all of those other things that you just mentioned right now. Let her have some back sex. Let her have something that you can't vibe off of.
If her
And I tell
sex
you,
was
all that
bad,
shit don't matter.
if her sex was bad, I would have never even learned those other stuff about her.
Oh!
It would have been all right. Like it would have never.
That's not period.
It never got that deep, nigga.
That's
Before
not period.
I'd have had to sample that pussy at some point earlier in the situation.
Gotta test drive the car. Gotta test drive the car.
No man keeps a woman around if the pussy ain't about something. Even if the situation, relationship wise, isn't what you want. Like so many niggas stick around. So many women deal with niggas because the sex is good. So
That part.
women want it just as bad as they do. And fellas, use that shit to your advantage. Man, you get a pussy, man, and you make that shit come when you want it to, nigga, you own that hoe, nigga. And she may not admit to it,
And vice
but she
versa.
knows you do. Oh yeah, nigga, take advantage.
And
And you
vice
can go to
versa.
her and act real tough and possessive. And she knows she may fight, but she gonna give in. Cause she know every time you slide in, nigga, she busting. And if you get a chick off 95% or higher every time you're inside of her, that is your pussy, nigga. I firmly believe in that. Would you agree, that fellas?
I got two things. First of all, I disagree with. I don't know that I agree with what you just said, but I'll get to that. I think a couple things. I think Evie said something. I referenced her before because she said this, and it's a real statement. Niggas always think they the only one to do what they do. Dog, like you're not the biggest dick she ever had. You didn't go the longest. Regardless of how she makes you feel, like you're not the first, right? If she 29, 30 years old, you're not the first to do anything that you're doing. So it's okay to be good at something, right? But understand, other motherfuckers were good at it and can be good at it if you slip up. So all I'm saying is just because you got a good vibe, and you ain't the only nigga with a good vibe, because you got a good sex game, you ain't the only nigga with a good sex game. So like, don't rest on one thing you think you do very well, because you'll lose her ass being arrogant, you know?
And you know what the matter of the fact is, it's happening now real quick, more than ever, especially in Toronto. Don't fuck up.
Really? Tell us more.
Fourth trip to Toronto.
If you don't come correct, leave. Goodbye. A block list. My block list is longer than the yellow pages. Okay.
No, you gotta everything. I agree, Daz, and that's what I believe a good nigga is, and what I feel is like, you know, we're going into an extension really because we provide everything, being able to provide that vibe, that stability, that good sex. Because you're right, if you're a one-trick pony, you ain't really got much. A lot of niggas can fuck you a hoe just as good, if not better. My dick might be bigger and all. You know what I'm saying? So all these things really don't matter as far as sex on its own, but together as a package, it's required, you know, to be great.
I got a question for all y'all though, because I think all y'all agreed on a comment that a point that Jezzy just made. But think about this. So I'm gonna just throw a scenario out there. The person is beautiful or handsome in your eyes, right? Self-sufficient, so they don't need shit from you, right? And the vibe, because the vibe is amazing. And here's where I guess where the question kind of lies. I think vibe, to me, vibe is let's talk about this. Can a vibe be independent? The sex have to be included in the vibe, right? So when you say somebody's vibe is awesome, I think about that as when I spend time with this person, doing things, talking, eating, shopping, driving, we never get tired of each other's company, right? Like I'm never like, damn, 2 hours with this bitch in the car? Oh my God, right? I'm never like that. I'm like, yo, I'm excited, right? Or we got dinner plans, or we're going for a walk, we're going someplace. I think that's independent of the sex, because I've had sexual partners and like the vibe was like if I wasn't, and we had shit to do.
You wanted to leave.
So,
I agree.
Right. So if the vibe is there, is it worth trying to rehabilitate the boo-boo sex? Right? Like not in the butt, I'm saying like the crappy sex. Like,
yeah, thanks for clarifying, because with Jen in this conversation, anything's possible.
That's why I clarified.
I'm in this mug, man.
Is it worth it? Is it worth it to you guys?
If a vibe is really good and the sex is bad, I will give it another try if she makes me feel like she wants it to be great. I need a submissive whore in bed. So if she can verbally convince me that, listen, I know I'm not this, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes, that type of submission I can work with. I believe so.
Okay.
I really do.
How about you, Your Highness?
I love playing both. Oh my god, yeah. So that's where I lie. I love being dom and sub. But fuck, what was the question? Sorry, I got.
Can you, if you have a good vibe with someone, would you still kick it with them if the sex wasn't as great as you wanted it to be?
See, the thing is, with like a relationship and commitment and like marriage and all that stuff like that, to me, if I'm being honest, in this day and age, that shit gotta be spectacular. Gotta be 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10.
Yeah.
All right. If it's not, then we're chilling, we're whatever, we're vibing from 10 p.m. till 7 a.m. and bye.
Oh, you're generous. 7 a.m. Nigga can catch some sleep too. Oh, I appreciate you.
Are you kidding me? Who said sleep? Who said
No,
sleep?
I agree. Listen, I always believe staying the night because I have to roll over in the
Who said sleep? Who said sleep?
No, I hear what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? And you're not even gonna come at me like that because I'll be in the pussy so long I owe you rent money. So I legitimately am talking from the perspective of being older once, but you're not gonna talk to me like that.
That was good.
Bounce.
Yeah. But no, man, if you with all the things we cover, I think these are the key things you need to look for to realize that someone's meant to be in your life. And definitely don't lead with sex. I think lead with trust. And yes, you heard Jezzy say it. Do not lead with sex. Sex comes second. You know what I'm saying? Sex comes second.
Your heart.
Yeah, your heart. Lead with your heart. Establish some trust. Be yourself. And then fuck something, man. I think fuck.
Balls deep. You gotta go balls deep. Don't pull up.
Balls deep.
Go
Yeah,
balls deep.
Needless to say. But I really think sex has to be the end these days because pussy is being given so freely now. It's almost guaranteed on first dates to where it's like, what's the point? So if you're gonna really try to do anything, ladies, and you get a nigga to pussy on the first date,
No, Nick. No. What you're not gonna do is shame the first date girls.
I'm not shaming them. I'm just saying, don't be surprised when that doesn't turn into a relationship. Don't be surprised when you don't hear from that nigga again. I'm not.
I think you make a
that's what you want. Do your thing, girl.
But I think you're making generalizations. I think that's bullshit. I think go ahead, Johannes. I think that's crazy. I want to get back to you.
No, because like from my experiences, I'm sorry, after the first date, ring, want to be in a relationship. You know what I mean? And that happens though. No, I'm saying that happens too.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to clarify that happens too. In this day and age, which is interesting. Yeah. And like you said, if it is on the first date, ladies, don't like, yeah, you can pull the shy girl act, like little. When the clothes come off, firecracker, baby. Turn that shit on. Sorry, go ham, sis. Like, don't be shy. Do you? He ain't gonna think you're a whore because you know all of this stuff. He's gonna be like, my goodness, okay?
He'll appreciate it.
Yeah, but you know what though? I think I agree with you said, Johannes, but I think Jezzy just said no, that you probably won't get a serious relationship. Here's the thing. I don't think when you have sex with somebody determines on whether or not they're going to be relationship material. I don't. I think whether it's is fucking on the fifth date way better than the first or the second? Like, why? Because you think so, nigga? Like, I think that's all subjective.
Get time to establish and get to know them. Now, I agree with you. I wifed the bitch that I fucked on the first date. So, I mean, I'm not saying to you it's impossible. What I am saying to you is the likelihood is very fucking minimum. Like, you're how many chicks are successfully doing that? That shit is a fucking miracle, damn near. So I agree with you, but just to an extent.
Yeah, I think it depends on why. Here's the thing. I think it depends on why you're fucking on the first date, right? Are you fucking on the first date because you know you can get it and you already realize I'm not gonna be spending much time, money, or effort on her? Then yeah. But if you fucking because you like, man, the vibe, we had a great night tonight. The vibe was lit. She's so dope. She open to it. Y'all kissing and it pop off. So I'm not. I know what you're saying, Jezzy, and I'm not. I'm being argumentative, right? Because I think both things happen. But I don't disagree with you that a lot of dudes will look at that as a negative. So I get your point.
I don't even know if dudes look at it as a negative because I don't think they do. I think what it is a nigga won't get an opportunity to see who you are to know if you're even worth keeping around because we already got the pussy. Because once a nigga get the pussy, men, I do believe, like to conquer shit, and we enjoy the chase more and the build up, and especially a nigga who gets a lot of women. He doesn't really want the easy ones. He want a chick he got to work for because the easy one's already low hanging fruit. So to me, I think that's what it comes down to. You I don't know. Maybe I'm different with
I don't think you bugging. I don't think you bugging.
I feel like if I'm being honest, like I don't ever lead with my pussy, ladies. Like I lead with my vibe. I lead with that, and that's what determines things. And if it happens on the first date because of that, like you said, and didn't you just say that? Like sex comes second. So I'm glad that we are definitely on the same page as that. So it's awesome. Like I'm confident in my vibe. I'm strong with it. I lead with that shit wherever I go.
Lead with your vibe.
I am exactly, and that's what it is.
And if you meet the right person, they're gonna have the same vibe. And then, like to Des's point, y'all both whores. Y'all fuck on the first date. Y'all fall in love and y'all together forever. Like that shit is a beautiful love story. You know what I'm saying?
He keeps calling.
That's funny.
Well, listen, we appreciate y'all. Please, Highness, tell them where to find you.
You can find me on YouTube, Highness T, HIGHNESSTEA, and you can find me on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, any streaming platform. Just plug in your headphones, you can hear me, or go on YouTube if you want to see me. Follow me on Instagram as well at Highness T, or my personal Instagram, your_Highness_T, to watch me contort my body in weird ways when I do some yoga.
Hey.
I didn't know we was talking about yoga, but I like the first part.
Yeah, some yoga and blunts.
Hey, can't beat it.
Tell them where to find us.
Hey, yeah, well, you can find us on YouTube, Instagram, at Brunch with the Boys. We're on all podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, and we're finally got on the Twitter game now. So we on Twitter. So you can find us at boys with a Z _brunch. We're trying to get on everything. We're on Facebook as well. So just check us out. We're posting every week. We're posting content related to the most recently released episode. We just celebrated the 30,000 listens and really got a lot of praises out on all the socials, man. So it was an amazing time. Just celebrating with y'all. We thank you because, of course, as corny as it is, without you, there's no us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so, yeah, don't do me like that. But for sure, man, that's where we at.
Hey, we appreciate y'all. We're gonna catch y'all next time.
Each one tell one. Thank you, Highness. We appreciate you.
Yeet.